That was good. Well, good evening, everyone. Wow, look, that's really me. Good evening, everyone. Believe it or not, I was born and raised in Palm Springs.
Woo!
And I have the footprints to prove it. There you go. Do they do that anymore? I mean, I don't even know if hospitals do that. You know, it all started for me in 1949, and I'm here to tell you about growing up in Palm Springs and a few of my experiences along the way. Here's the house I grew up in at 172 Okatia Avenue. Growing up in the 50s and 60s in Palm Springs was absolutely magic. My parents met in Palm Springs in 1934 and married in 1936. Yeah, give them a big hand. Geez, you're making it tough on me. And lucky for me, they stayed in Palm Springs where they raised our family. Palm Springs has been the most wonderful place to grow up. Uh-oh. Here I am at 7 years old, and I'm thankful every day I'm here to enjoy Palm Springs. Fast forward to September 1958, when I was 9 years old. My parents took me to functions such as this event when the car dealers on Palm Canyon Drive held open houses to introduce their new cars. Cadillac, Chevy, Lincoln Mercury, and Ford. It was quite an affair, with music, cocktails, appetizers, orchids for the ladies, and balloons. And that night, Dad made the right decision. Mom got a 1959 gunmetal gray Lincoln Continental convertible. And you know what? I got this model. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. I still got it. Yeah. So, my dad was president of the Chamber of Commerce, as photographed by Bernard of Hollywood. And that night, he introduced me to our cowboy mayor, Frank Bogert, who said, "Hi, Greg." The mayor knew of me because I went to school with his daughter Donna at St. Teresa School here in Palm Springs. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Smoketree Ranch that is, home of Walt Disney, who hosted film showings for the kids who lived at Smoketree Ranch and their friends, friends, to preview the latest Disney movies, introduced by Walt himself. Here's Walt with his Smoketree Ranch tie. The Disney home was a favorite at the ranch during the holidays. Walt would have Disney Studios decorate his house. You can imagine the scariest house at Halloween. And for Christmas, Walt would arrange for Santa himself to be in the front yard with a sleigh full of toys and goodies for the kids. We then realized Walt was a personal friend of Santa. Another one of Disney's admirers was President Eisenhower when he stayed at the ranch. Here he is with his Smoketree Ranch tie. I really enjoyed my time with friends at Smoketree Ranch. It was a wonderful place then, and it still is today. And here I am with my Smoketree Ranch. Now it's 1960. I'm 11 years old and have some other friends who just happen to be sons of a couple of local architects. I would ride my bicycle up to El Mirador Road to visit Jeff Williams, son of Stu Williams. And then we would go next door to John Porter Clark's house to get his son Stan. The population of Palm Springs in 1960 was 13,000 people, with plenty of wide open deserts. We would run wild in the open desert with our BB guns, chasing rabbits and lizards until we came upon a very strange house. While only next door, we were too afraid to get too close because we thought maybe these people were from Mars or from somewhere out of this world. Remember, this was the age of flying saucers. As it turned out, it was only Albert Frey's house. You can imagine the homes of Stu Williams, John Porter Clark, and Albert Frey, all lined up in the open desert. What a great home tour that would have been. I just have to say, what a glorious desert we live in. And thinking about this world reminds me, as a young teen in Palm Springs, one had to decide to be a tennis player or a golfer. So my mom, being a tennis player and a lover of screwdrivers, signed me up for tennis lessons at the Racket Club. Was that funny? Yeah. I met Dinah Shore and her daughter Missy, who's still a good friend of mine to this day. What a place. Celebrities at the Racket Club were always around, and I got to know them, and they got to know me too. Here's some of the stars that were regular at the club. Jack Benny, Dinah Shore, George Montgomery. Do you remember Donna Reed? Here she is, yeah, here she is with Frank Sinatra. Here's Russel and Russell with her fur, talking to William Holden with a Band-Aid on his head. What was that all about? And of course, William Powell with Marilyn Monroe.
Wow.
Did you know she was actually discovered at the Racket Club?
Wow.
Yeah.
One Thursday, there's that other showed her in her cashmere coat. Who knows what she had on that night? That's another story. But one Thursday after I finished my tennis lesson, photographer Bill Anderson, who knew me, passed by on his way to the bungalows where the stars stayed. I followed him to see who he was photographing that day and talk about out of this world. Man, I can hardly look at that. As I came closer, Bill motioned to me to meet Jane Mansfield. We shook hands and she said, "Hi, Greg." Really, it really happened. I didn't wash my hands for 2 days. Wow. I'm 13 years old, and this was the first day I fell in love. Wow, Jane Mansfield. Wow. Later that week, I was forced to wash my hands and put on my Boy Scout uniform to attend the annual Palm Springs Police Show on Saturday night, where many Hollywood stars performed along with Bob Hope as MC with Les Brown and his orchestra. They performed to raise money for the police department. This was one of the biggest events in town. It was held at the Palm Springs High School gym with 600 to 700 people in attendance. Local Boy Scouts were asked to help out with various duties at the show. My troop, 118, was assigned to serve refreshments to the stars backstage and to assist one of the local photographers. Here's my best friend, Johnny Purcell, administering the Scout oath to Dean Martin. After serving a few other celebrities, I returned to the photographer's side to find that he had set the stage for the following photo. I gotta look at that myself. Now, lo and behold, it was Jane Mansfield again. And much to the amazement of the gentlemen around her, Harpo, Frank, and Red, she said, I was stunned that she remembered me. What a night. I didn't learn until later that she had been an early Playboy playmate. Oh, wow. Can you imagine? No, I better fast forward here. Fast forward to age 16 when I could drive. I landed the greatest Christmas vacation job ever, delivering Christmas trees in this turquoise 65 Chevy El Camino, provided by the owners of the Christmas tree lot. Because I knew every street in town, I was the delivery boy. The lot was located at 299 South Palm Canyon Drive, kitty corner to the Santa Fe Federal Savings Bank, which is now the Architectural and Design Center. Woo. There were many vacant lots on Palm Canyon Drive at that time. One day, Frank Sinatra walked onto the Christmas tree lot, so the owner asked me to take care of the sale and set up the delivery. He introduced me to Sinatra, and I said, "I remember meeting you backstage at the police shows in the past years." And then Sinatra said,
"Hi, Greg."
"Oh yeah, hi, Greg." I proceeded to show him and his female friend a number of trees, and as we walked around, Sinatra said, "Roz, baby, pick out anything you want." She wasn't a Jane Mansfield, but Rosalind Russell was very nice. And she picked out a tall white flock tree just like this one. I hated those flock tree deliveries because I had to drive so slow in the El Camino. Hey, whoa, now. Hey, now it's June 1967. I'm 17 years old, just graduated from Palm Springs High, and I had a full head of hair. I was driving south on Palm Canyon Drive in my black 56 Ford convertible. Okay. I stopped at the traffic light on Villalobos. I noticed a black 67 Cadillac Eldorado pulling up next to me on my right. I had one hand on the wheel and, one hand on the back of the seat. I looked over to admire the new Caddy just as the driver's window went down. It was Elvis Presley.
Whoa.
Elvis took the time to lean over and check out my car. And now this is a guy thing. Not a word was said. He nodded his head down. I nodded my head up. The signal turned green. We looked at each other again. And this is the cool part. With his left hand, he motioned to me to go ahead of him. This is the day I was cooler than Elvis. Hey, I was just an average kid, ordinary kid with everyday stories growing up in Palm Springs. What a life I've had.